What's up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be getting into some home game action. It is 1-3 blinds, $500 max buy-in initially, and then it's pretty much just match the stack. But yeah, no rake, usually some good food there, just good vibes all around. So should be a super good time. Just going to play till our standard about 2 maybe 3 a.m. So that's our plan for the night. Let's get in there and crush some souls. Oh, we got the dungeon down here. This is dope. Yeah, I think so, bro.
You better, bro. I've been watching the vids. I need
yeah.
You have the fire suit then, don't you?
So this is actually a new setup down here in the basement, but everything looking super dope. We got the bar area, the projection, screens on the wall, and we got the full spread, of course, the pulled pork, the wings. You know you're true degenerates when you got food from the casino at a home game. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We did end up buying in for $500, so in the game for $500. Alright, you guys, first hand of the night, and we are looking down at the beautiful 9-7 of spades. Definitely one of my favorite hands, 9-7 suited. Under the gun opens to 15, and obviously we're playing this one. It's early in the night, it's a home game, got to splash around a little bit, so we go ahead and put in the call. We could definitely 3-bet as well, and obviously we could just fold. Every option pretty much makes sense, but we do elect to call, cut off calls, and then the rest of the table folds. So we are going to be 3 ways to the flop, $49 in the pot, and the flop is 10-8-3 rainbow. Under the gun checks it over to us, and we have an open-ended straight draw, and it is a rainbow board, so we don't really have to worry about our tainted outs if there was a flush draw available. So we do decide to fire out for $31. Nice little rainbow bet, one of each color. Cutoff thinks it over and then calls, and under the gun pretty quickly snap folds. So we are going to be heads up to the turn. $111 in the pot, and the turn is the king of diamonds. Definitely really not the best card at all, but it is somewhat of a scare card. If he has a 10x or an 8x hand, we can apply some pressure to those holdings. We should have around 20-ish% equity no matter what, pretty much anyway. And we have a lot of perceived fold equity against this player especially. So I decide to fire out for $90, and they think it over for a while before eventually folding. So good result here in this first hand as we take this one down. There is a button straddle on this hand. We go ahead and straddle to $10 on the button, and we're looking down at 9-5 offsuit. Pretty junky hand. Folds around to the hijack, who calls the 10. Rest of the table folds, and we just go ahead and check our option. Pretty junky hand, like I said. Go ahead and see a flop, and the flop is 6-5-3 rainbow, so we got middle pair. There's $24 in the pot. He checks it over to us. We could definitely just check this back. Pretty marginal hand, but I decided to throw out a bet of 15. Try to get some value from random straight draw hands or maybe ace high type hands. So we bet 15, and he puts in the call. And the turn is another 5. It's the 5 of hearts. Always nice to just turn trips. So he checks it over, and at this point, I like this bet. We decided to just bet 25, just throw out 1 green chip. It doesn't really look as if we have trips when we bet this amount. It looks kind of just nonchalant, like we're kind of just throwing something out there. And it allows him to call with much worse hands, and it also leaves the door open for him to raise, which he does. He clicks it up to $50. So I think it over for a minute. Obviously, we're always calling. I think about potentially even 3-betting, but I decide it would kind of be an overplay. So I just flick in the call. He's pretty polarized here. And the river is the ace of diamonds, 104 in the pot, and he pretty quickly bets 90, close to full pot. Don't really see much point to raise. I think we either have him absolutely smoked or he has us absolutely smoked. Most likely he just has nothing, I'm thinking, but not really worth it to raise. We go ahead and just put in the call, and he has pocket 2s. So yep, I think our bet on the turn kind of did get him to spaz out a little bit. So I think we got the max on this hand. Looking down at pocket aces, let's go. Couple of red aces, ace of hearts, ace of diamonds. We go ahead and raise to 10 from early position. Folds around to the cutoff, who, much to our delight, puts in the 3-bet to $55. So obviously gonna come in with the 4-bet, coming up with the size. And I decided to 4-bet to 155, just under 3x. And he doesn't think long before just ripping all in
Call
for 700. So we just go ahead and snap that off. And he has ace king, so ace king of spades. So cooler situation. We agree to run it twice. The first board is 9, 7, 4, 4, 8 with not a spade in sight, so running bad for him. Second board, the flop is 8, 5, deuce with 2 clubs, so he is pretty much cooked unless he hits running kings, and he does not. Jack of clubs on the turn, deuce of spades on the river. We are going to win both, so we are going to scoop a pretty massive pot in this 1-3 game. He was in for 700, so yeah, he was pretty deep, so very nice hand with pocket aces. Pocket jiggities in the house this time. So there is a limp from under the gun, and a couple people already posted their blinds. They missed their blinds, so there's a lot of dead money out there. So we go ahead and raise to 25. Pocket jacks, jack of diamonds, jack of clubs. It folds around to under the gun, the limper, and he puts in the call. Heads up to the flop, and the flop is 10, 5, 4, rainbow, 62 in the pot. He checks, and we could definitely bet here, but I don't really have to worry about a ton. We do have to protect against some overcards, obviously queens through aces, but I don't know. I'm kind of leery of his limp call range from under the gun. He's not a complete maniac or anything. He's definitely a pretty good player. He'll mix it up, so not really sure what he has. So I decide to just check and evaluate on the turn, and the turn is the 9 of hearts. Still $62 in the pot, and he now fires out for 50 bucks. So standard call, see no point to raise, so we go ahead and put in the call. 162 now in the pot, headed to the river, and it is the king of diamonds, and he checks it over to us. And yeah, I think I want to go for value against a lot of his various 10x hands that check the flop and went for some value on the turn. Maybe random 9x hands like ace 9. So I decided to go for some value, and I bet 50 bucks, basically a third pot, and he snaps it off, and he has pocket queens. Definitely not really the hand I was expecting to see. But yeah, kind of value owned myself a bit, but all things considered, think we could have lost a lot more this hand. All right, a lot of pre-flop shit going on this hand, boys. So under the gun 2 opens to 10. Low jack calls. We go ahead and call. Cutoff calls and the big blind calls as well. So super multi-way to the flop, and the flop is king, queen, 3. We got pocket 3s. It is all spades though, so we got to kind of worry about the flush, but not really. There's 51 bucks in the pot, bottom set. So it checks to us, and we go ahead and bet 35 bucks, basically like 2/3 pot. And under the gun 2 calls, and the low jack calls as well. So we are going to be 3 ways to the turn, and the turn is the deuce of diamonds. So definitely one of the best turns we could ask for. Super dry, non-threatening turn. Checks to us, and in case one of these guys are slow playing a flush, I don't know if I want to blast huge, and I still want to allow worse hands to call. So I decide $50 sounds like a good bet, reasonable bet. So I bet 50, and under the gun 2 calls, and low jack gets out of the way. So we are going to be heads up to the river, and the river is the king of hearts. So great river, pairs the board, don't have to worry about the flush now. We're beating all the flushes. I don't see how he ever has a full house. I don't think he ever has king queen. So under the gun 2 checks, and I just reached to bet. I don't even know what I was going to bet, bet, and he just folds. I was definitely going to bet pretty big, though. This is a spot we want to polarize. He either probably has a random ace of spades looking for that last spade, or he already has potentially like a weak flush. So we need to really just go for the max, or he just has nothing. So whatever. So yeah, we reached a bet and he folds. So that is going to be pocket threes. Queen 10 of hearts. Next hand we are going to be looking at tonight. We go ahead and open to $10 from under the gun to hijack, calls, and button. Super aggressive player, 3 bets to 40. Big blind calls, we put in the call, and hijack calls as well. So 4 ways to the flop, 161 in the pot. And the flop is king 8 for all hearts, so we absolutely smash this flop. Second nut flush. It checks to us, and I decide to check. Not sure if I love this check. I was kind of trying to go for the check raise potentially, or just be a little deceptive, a little trappy here. So we decide to check, and it ends up checking through. And the turn is the 10 of spades. Pretty bricky card. Big blind checks, and definitely betting now. There's 161 still in the pot, and I bet $55. The hijack calls, the button calls, and the big blind calls. So definitely not what I was expecting. Definitely was not expecting this many callers, but such is life. Expect the unexpected. So the river comes, the 4 of clubs, $381 in the pot. Checks to us, and with this many people in the hand, it does pair the board on the river. I don't really think people have many boats. Like, I don't think anyone had a set prior to this, and I don't think really anyone has like king 4. I definitely don't think anyone has 8-4. Maybe someone could have king 4 suited. But yeah, I don't really think anyone has a boat, but it's definitely possible, and it's going to make it harder for us to get called by a worse hand with that flush out there already scaring people. So I decided to bet 55. Again, same bet as the turn. Maybe someone will get curious and pay us off light, but I actually would have preferred betting just like $100. Just throw out 100, be the perfect size, I think. But we bet 55. Hijack does get curious and puts in the call. Rest of the table folds, and he has king 9 offsuit, king of diamonds, 9 of clubs. So I don't think he would have called much more. He probably would have folded to like 150, but probably would have called 100. Probably would have been the perfect bet size, but as it stands, we bet 55 and we get paid off. Once again, we are looking down at American Airlines, boys, pocket aces, and best of all, we got the button straddle on. Hero, button straddle to $10. Big blind calls. Under the gun 2 opens to $50. Music to our ears. And she's a pretty tight, aggressive player, so I think she has a pretty good hand. So dialing up our 3-bet size, and we go ahead and 3-bet to 155. Just a hair over 3x. Since her open size is already so large, I don't need to go huge. So we 3-bet to 155. Big blind gets out of the way, and she does put in the call pretty quickly. So definitely putting her on a pretty strong range as we heads up to the flop. And the flop is king jack 3 rainbow, 321 in the pot. She checks, and I decide to check back. We don't really have to worry about basically any cards. If she has pocket kings, she's already way ahead. If she has ace king, we're gonna get all the money anyway. And if she has a lower pair like queens or, you know, tens, maybe pocket 9s or 8s, I think if we check, we're gonna be able to make the most on this hand. And like I said, we don't really have to worry about a lot. We don't have to protect against a lot. So I definitely like a check. So I do decide to check this back. So the turn is the 5 of clubs, still $321 in the pot, and she checks once again. Definitely gonna bet our hand now. Gonna target those pairs such as queens, 10s, 9s, 8s, etc. Even if she has ace queen, ace 10, she's probably not going anywhere. So definitely need to bet now. So we just bet $100. And she pretty quickly goes all in for 410. So we snap call. I mean, easiest call of my life. She could have ace king, all kinds of stuff. So we agree to run it twice. And the first river is the deuce of spades. Second river is the 4 of hearts. And I think she did have ace king. So She goes ahead and mucks, and we take this one down. Literally a few minutes later, we look down at, what do you know, pocket aces. Yep, once again. So there's a limp from early position, and we go ahead and open to $20 from the hijack. The small blind calls, big blind calls, and the early position limper calls as well. So 4 ways to the flop, and the flop is 9-9-5 with 2 hearts. 80 bucks in the pot, and small blind thinks for a sec and just moves all in for 127. This was one of my friend's dads, and he did not really play poker a ton. Super nice guy, really loved playing with him, but yeah, he was not really like a seasoned player or anything at all. So dude could literally have anything. I was thinking he had like pocket jacks or 10s or something, and he was just looking to see a low flop to just get it in. So everyone, not surprisingly, folds to this overbet, folds around to us, and I mean, we got pocket aces, never in a million years folding. I do think for a sec because it is just kind of weird, but whatever. We call. I definitely think I'm probably good. He says he just wants to run it once. Turn is the 7 of diamonds. There's $334 in the pot. River is the deuce of spades, and he turns over pocket 5, so he just flopped the boat on us. We were pretty much dead unless we hit one of those aces, so yeah. Couldn't have lost the pot to a nicer guy, so, and it helps that he was pretty short stacked. So the aces giveth and the aces taketh away. Cannot hit the ace on this one, but we were already running pretty good, so can't really complain. So aces gonna lose this time. Seeing a lot of the same hands tonight, so coming full circle, we're looking down at 9-7 of spades. Once again, first hand we played as well. So cutoff opens to 20, super aggressive, splashy player, and we put in the call from the hijack. So everyone else folds, so nice simple hand this time, heads up to the flop, and the flop is ace-6-3 with 2 spades and 1 heart. He bets 40 bucks. Almost full pot, and obviously never going anywhere with our flush draw, so we put in the call. The turn is the jack of spades, $124 in the pot, so we turn our flush. Great turn, and he now bets 75. I consider raising for sure, but our flush is not the strongest by any means, and he's still betting a pretty decent sizing. If he was to have bet smaller, I would definitely raise a lot more, obviously. But for 75 bucks, and he's a player that can put me in a lot of tough spots, I decide to just call for now and proceed to a river and see what he does. So we do just call, and the river is the 8 of diamonds, so a pretty safe river. 274 in the pot, and he now bets 100. So at this point, definitely think we want to raise. When he bets 100 here, I don't think he has a flush very often at all. Probably has a decent ace-x hand, maybe 2 pair perhaps. So definitely think we want to raise. So coming up with the size, and eventually I decide 290 sounds reasonable, just under 3x. Allow him to call with some worse hands. We don't want to blast some insane amount. He is really deep with us. He's got about $1,000 maybe 1,100, so pretty deep. So I decided to raise to 290, and he pretty much snap folds. All right, you guys, lock in. This last hand is absolutely wild. So there is a straddle to $10 from under the gun. Under the gun, 1 tight aggressive reg opens to $30. Low jack calls, hijack calls, hero calls from the cutoff, and big blind calls as well. So we are going to be 5 ways to this flop. Already a nice pot brewing, $161 in the pot already, and the flop is 7-6-5 with 2 diamonds. So super connected wet flop. We do have the second nut flush draw, and it checks over to us, and this is a super important part in the hand. We decide to bet 115 into 161, so definitely a hefty bet, especially in this multi-way of a pot into 4 other opponents. So folds to under the gun 1, the initial raiser, pre-flop, tight aggressive reg, and he doesn't think for too long before putting in the call, only about 5 5, maybe 10 seconds max, puts in the call. And then the hijack, super aggressive, pretty crazy, maniacal player, he calls as well, our 115. So I'm already slightly suspicious of Under the Gun 1's range. I think even with overpairs such as jacks or 10s, he would have had to have a little bit more thought on this flop. Even higher overpairs, maybe a little bit more thought. So little bit leery already. Hijack, hard to know what he has. He could have a plethora of hands, including the nut flush draw. Either of them could have that still. But anyways, the turn is the deuce of diamonds. So we do bink the second nuts. And Under the Gun 1 checks, hijack checks, and this is definitely a point in the hand where I could definitely obviously bet. We have the second nuts, but like I said, I'm somewhat skeptical what Under the Gun 1's range really is, and it's also very deceptive essentially when we check here, and it's going to allow us to evaluate on the river when the pot's already pretty good size. Under the Gun 1 is super deep with us. He had probably roughly 1700 to start the hand. We had about 1900. So we do eventually decide to check on this turn, and the river is the 3 of spades. So once again, Under the Gun 1 checks pretty quickly. Hijack checks, and now action's on us. Obviously, we're gonna go for value. We have the second nuts. There's $391 in the pot. So I want to just go for max in case one of them has a straight or maybe a set. So dialing up a size, and I do decide to bet $325, a very large size honestly relative to the pot, almost full pot, just under. So Under the Gun 1 thinks for literally 11.8 seconds and rips.
Come on.
For $1,400 effective, all in. Yeah, my balls literally sank into my stomach. This is sick. Anyone who thinks that this is just a snap call, you're just not good at poker. I'm sorry. When a tight, aggressive player check raises on the river here, all in for an insane amount of big blinds, for like 400 something big blinds, thinks for 11.8 seconds and just rips on us. If you think this is a good spot with the second nuts, like I said, you are not good at poker. Because when we look at our hand, King 10 of diamonds, there is so many hands we are blocking. Literally, the only combo left of Queen X of diamonds that he could potentially be value owning himself with is Queen Jack of diamonds. That is the single hand that we beat. Queen 10 of diamonds is not possible. Jack 10 of diamonds is not possible either. The only Queen X and Jack X diamond hands left literally is Queen Jack of diamonds. Like, I don't think he ever really even has like Queen 9 of diamonds or Jack 9 of diamonds. I don't think he raises that from Under the Gun 1, basically Under the Gun, because he's first act, and with the straddle, so his range is even tighter. So I just don't think he ever has Queen 9 or Jack 9. He never has some other weird lower flush. Like, that's just not a thing. It's just not. And there's just a shit ton of Ace X of diamond hands. I mean, we got Ace Queen of diamonds, we got Ace Jack of diamonds, Ace 9 of diamonds, Ace 8, Ace 5, Ace 3, Ace 4 of diamonds. There is infinite, basically, compared to the alternative that we beat, hands that beat us.
This is sick. Just don't see how you could ever be bluffing. Look at that, Bobby. Look at that. I think I'm probably gonna fold. What do you think about that? I just don't see how you're possibly bluffing. I really don't.
So yeah, we are just cooked here, I'm pretty sure. And just the more I've thought about and analyzed this hand and saw how quickly he moved all in, and looking just at all the blockers and all the cards available and just like the possible hands he can have, the better I feel about this. And he's bluffing into two people here, literally. Hijack right to our right, super loose, splashy, aggressive player, capable of trapping, capable of wild shit. He could still have the nuts theoretically, and this dude is still just check ripping his entire stack at what, 2 something in the morning, risking all his profit. He was up a decent amount too. And he knows I'm a pretty solid player. So is he really just gonna rip queen jack of diamonds after thinking for 10 seconds in this spot? I just don't think he is. And like I said, there's literally one hand that we beat and like 10 that beat us.
Like turning aces with the ace of diamonds into a bluff? No. Aces with the ace of diamonds into a bluff. That's basically the only thing bluff you could have. How much should I bet? Sorry, I was gonna say something. I fold. Take it. Take it. Get in.
So yeah, I did eventually end up folding. I just, you know, like the only bluff he can really have is pocket aces that he turns into a bluff, because he never has like ace king or ace queen with one diamond, because he's never calling flop with that. So yeah, we do eventually lay it down, much to the table's disbelief. And I found it weird how like angry some people, like hijack dude to my right was like actually like upset about it. Just like, you just need to quit. Like, why are you even playing? Like, you should never show anyone that full. It's just like, why do other people care so much about what I do with my money? Like, I genuinely think I was just cooked here. Like, I've played enough poker to know I'm just gonna call. He's just gonna have the nuts every time. He's just going to. He's just not thinking for 11.8 seconds and just ripping for 500 blinds with queen something of diamond. He's just not. He never has lower diamond. Like, he's just not a thing. And if you bluff me with pocket aces, got to the river somehow and bluff me all in with aces, with the ace of diamonds, then he's just the greatest player of all time. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the last hand, you guys. Definitely pretty much was done after that. It was already pretty late. So that's going to be the last hand of the night. So that was pretty much it, you guys. After that, we headed on over to cash out for the night. It was getting pretty late. Had to make a decently far drive as well. And you know, we still ended up making $1,000 for the night. It's like, at least we are still cashing out more than $300, which is all we would have had if we would have been wrong on that call. But on the other hand, who knows, maybe we would have been cashing out $3,500. We will never know. Unfortunately, that's just the way this game works. But in my heart, I feel like I made the right decision. The more I look at this hand, the more I do really think I came to the right conclusion in the end. So we ended up playing for 6 hours, in the game for 500, out for 1480. So basically made $1,000, 980 to be exact. Had a great time, and yeah, still got to walk away with a pretty nice win at the end of the day. That's all that really matters. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you next episode.